If somebody who does has no idea about Jainism wanted to know like Jainism in a nutshell, like in a very short, specific way, how would you explain it to them?
Okay, so this would be a very, a textbook answer that everybody would start with, that a religious tradition or a school of thought that started 2,500 years ago in India, specifically in the central part of India. This religious tradition, or I would also say a way of life, was sometimes people think it's an offshoot of Hinduism, offshoot of Buddhism, which is not the case actually. So this Jainism is falls under a category called Shramana tradition. Shramana tradition meaning a life of an ascetic, right? So Jainism that has roots in India, and it began 2,500 years ago. And the most striking thing about Jainism is that it does not believe in a creator God, that the universe is uncreated entity. It always existed for kind of infinite time, and it will always exist. So then who are the religious leaders? Then what is the concept of divinity in this religion? Who would rule, in our layman's language, who would rule, who would guide us? So human being who are liberated soul, who have achieved, the supreme knowledge, are the founders or the teachers of this religion, and they are called Tirthankaras or Jinas. Jina, the word means victor, victory over what? Victory over all passion, greed, violence, and everything. And so in every time cycle, there are 24 Jinas, are also termed as Tirthankaras. Tirthankaras meaning forward makers, those who make a bridge between the samsara and liberation, life cycle and liberation, and show you the path to go to the liberation. So they are the teachers, the founders, or in a sense, I would say, divine figures or divinity in Jainism. But still, they are not the creator of the universe. They don't grant you anything. The only thing that they do for you is to teach you the values that they themselves imbibed, they themselves practiced. Okay, so and it's an ancient religion. Population-wise, we don't have it's not a large. There are not large number of Jains around across the world, but with according to the influence in this a very positive influence, like impact-wise, right? Impact-wise, Jainism has done a lot, has contributed a lot to the Indian philosophy, Indian art, Indian aesthetics, and Indian community. So, if you visit India and if you see the beautiful temples, if you see beautiful sculptures, if you see beautiful paintings, poetry, literature, intellectual heritage that Jainism has given is marvelous. So it's the mainstream religion in India. At the same time, Indian Jains started to migrate to different countries from the mid-90s and early 20s, and then later on, because they are highly professional people, they are business people, they are merchants, doctors, engineers. So that's how it got spread across the world through the lay people. And because the monks cannot travel, right? So this is the very basic introduction of Jainism. Yes, and the ultimate goal of any individual born in this religion or following this religion is moksha, liberation, salvation, and the complete salvation. With a sense that we do not want to return back to the cycle of life and death, and want to achieve the complete peace of mind and complete peace of a self. So like bodiless soul, which remains at a place in the universe where they, completely enjoy the bliss, but do not come back to the pain and suffering.
Well, thank you. Yeah, so I get this question a lot, really. What does Jainism mean? And my whole life I've been asked that question, right? And a lot of people in school used to tell me, yeah, it's an offshoot of Hinduism, it's an offshoot of Buddhism. And I kind of agreed when I was younger because I was just ignorant to actually knowing how Jainism is separate, how it is its own entity. And I think uh, since later in life, from my own research, my own reading, obviously being in touch with Gurudev and my own guru, I've learned so much about Jainism and the fact that infinity was a concept by Mahavira like 2,500, 2,600 years ago, when people thought that the universe revolved around Earth. Mahavira was speaking about an infinite universe. That's such a radical thought. People can't comprehend it. Now it makes sense because we live in modern times where science is at the front of society. But having that thought then, or an idea then, that the universe is infinite, where people didn't even know what infinite meant, just shows you how progressive and how scientific Jainism is.